Hi there, guys. My name's Jamie Boyle, and I'm an 8-time Amazon author. And this is just a quick video to say that in 2021, I'm going to be really looking forward to working with the venerable, interesting Alex Reid. Many of you will be aware of, obviously, Alex came to the public spotlight over a decade ago for being linked with various celebrity partners. I'm not going to go into that, but also Alex has had a bit of a life himself. I think he's in the record books already for winning Big Brother. And actually, at the start, he was 40-1, so he was basically a one-legged horse. But with the thing with Alex, not a lot of people know. I've been speaking to a friend of mine lately, Paul Venice, who's been he was a K1 champion, MMA fighter, and he said to me, he said, Jamie, he said, you know something? He said, I followed that guy's career before he came in the media spotlight. He said what he went on to do for a British man I think Alex said to me he won something like 10 belts. And listen, everyone knows about, you know, what what the papers have put, but what is the actual truth for that? I mean, I watched a podcast of him the other week on James English, and he was telling a story about Piers Morgan saying it's okay, it's all right, and Alex was like, nah. He said it's not all right, and yeah, the guy's been through the absolute mill. I can only imagine what it's like when the press, when they're like a dog with a bone, and some of the untruths, and you just got to, you know, people are writing things about you left, right, and centre, and you just got to remain this kind of be professional and keep your mouth closed. And there's every Tom, Dick, and Harry running about saying, "I've done this, I've done that, I've slept with him," all this kind of stuff. But I like Alex. I've got to know him rather well these last couple of um, and I know he has in my opinion, there's a couple of books. I think he would be huge for, um, you know, the mental health side, because obviously, he's a big guy. He can fight like the devil. He's 6 foot. He's trained in mixed martial arts. He's not the kind of guy you'd probably want to get caught nicking your milk. Um, but there's so how does someone like that, like him, let himself to be bullied? Um, he's very intellectual as well, and he's like, you look at him and yes, once he was a model, still a really really good looking guy, but obviously when you have as many fights as Alex Reid's had, I think it's in the hundreds now, you are going to come across your broken nose or dislocated ears and all these kind of things. But he was a model, and I dare say he didn't lack female attention. Um, but yeah, he's and I mean, he was born at the home of the British Army, which is Aldershot. My brother's in the Paras, so that's where they're based. Alex had a military background. I'm not quite sure which regiment, but I know he was in it for like 5 years or so. And yes, he's been famous for his links to certain other people, but there's a story in there as well of him creating this huge success, a massive fighting legacy, and that's Paul Venice telling me. Paul Venice, for him to say that, he's actually a British, European, and world K1 champion. So Paul really knows his stuff. I'm not clued up on the game, so I'm just going what Paul tell me, and he's like, listen, Alex was like outstanding. What a fighter he was. So yeah, and you've got the guy's been totally and utterly through the mill, and yeah, I think now he's more into positivity. He's more choosy with who, and I was aware that when he first spoke to me, he was kind of, he was almost like a job interview. He was like, well, what's your, and he was almost like sizing me up, because when you're in the spotlight, as I imagine he has been, there's always someone ready to shaft you and shit on you and take a story down, but then tell it in a different way. But yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting Alex. We were going to be meeting this month, but obviously Boris has put a stop to that. So we're going to be catching up, hopefully, when the lockdown is over. And my plan is to, well, I already have, I've offered him a couple of books. You know, like, as I just said, a mental health one. What, you know, how do you deal with waking up on the morning and the 56 million in Britain people have heard stories on you, which are totally ludicrous, but it doesn't matter because the papers have printed it, and well, even if it's not true, we'll still believe it anyway. You know, he's been branded some disgusting, totally untrue, fabricated stories, and yes, you know, that would maybe come to a time when it's his time to say, or maybe in a second book, but a mental health book on how do you, you know, listen, you only can tell by looking at him. He's got a body of, it's almost like he's been chiseled, and he's not bad for a 45-year-old. I think he is now. So he's obviously had a huge part of his life where, I mean, even now I speak to him today, and I think he still trains twice a day. So being addicted to the training, which releases your natural endorphins, is all good for mental health. I've had many chats with Alex, and I just sat and thought, wow, what a figure, what a platform you could be to help out people out there who needed some kind of guidance, and also I like him as well. There's three things that I always ask myself when I take a project on. One, will it sell? Two, do I like them? And three, are they likely to you know, to spit the dummy out and kind of be difficult, and yes, I have had them, and everyone in the world gets them, but no, he's been easy going, very, very laid back, which I imagine it's because, you know, listen, he could bloody knock trees down, you know. So imagine if he had a bad temper and he reacted to everyone that was saying, right, well, Alex Reid's this, blah 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 blah. You know, so you've got to grow a thick skin, and you've got to be laid back. And I'm, you know, the Alex Reid I've got to know, he certainly is. But my hopes to sit down with Alex in early 2021, when Boris Johnson lets us, and just sit down, and I just want to sit with him and basically empty his head, the contents of his head. You know, there's so many different compartments of the Alex Reid, some none of my business, and I'm not even going to go there. But, you know, to be a mixed martial arts expert, to be to live through the things he's lived through, the insults, the accusations. You know, there's a saying in life, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know, I think most people know what I'm talking about, certain issues, scenarios that he's got himself involved with. You know, some of these issues have ended up in court and can't be spoken about. But my hope is to sit with Alex, and do a couple of projects with him. I've offered him, you know, there's two books there screaming out. Bit one being Alex Reid, mental health, training, you know, being me, what was it like? This is my answer back. And obviously there's the life from the cradle to the grave. Not to mention also even a possible documentary. I think Alex, you know, you don't have to be a kickboxing fan. You don't have to be MMA fan. You don't have to, just because you buy the Hello magazine and you've seen who's been aware, you've seen who he's been married to. I think most people in Britain even know the name. You know, I mean, I've spoken to like nanas in the last couple of recent weeks, and they went, oh yeah, I know that guy. You know, and I've been in the post office, and everyone seems to know Alex Reid, but don't really know the story. They know the story they've heard or what they've been led to believe, but who is the real Alex Reid? And I'm really hoping that I can sit down with Alex, because he's really charming, and he's a good sense of humour, which I get on straight away because I love. And he said to me, you know, I mean, I've done a lot of books on people maybe would class as maybe, how can I put it, certain slightly different to the modern Joe Citizen, but yeah, I think it'd be a boring place if the world we were all boring, all the same. And Alex Reid is certainly different. And I, for one, would be absolutely thrilled and privileged to write maybe not one but two of his stories. So I'm going to keep you informed, guys, on this project. And I'm in contact with Alex regularly. He's just had some great news now that, I said to him 2021 could be the best year of his life, with his, now looking to become a father and really settle down at the spring age chicken of 45. Bless him. So, but yeah, I'll keep you informed, guys. So this is our War Cry publishing page. We've got lots of content on here on various things, and Paul Sykes, your Lee Duffys, your kind of, it's just, I think my boss summed this up as the channel, the stuff you want to see, and yeah, Alex Reid is part of that. So thank you for watching, guys. God bless. Thank you for your support.